more here. Let's go. Let's do the 3 foot. So we got 9 O's. And then we got 12 O's. And we do need to call this 3 foot panel. 3 foot. 3 foot. There we go. And then we're going to do our 15s. And then our 18s. Six. So this is 9. And then 12. 15, 18. All right, and then let's do our 4 foot increments. So this is going to be 4 O's. Oh, 8 O. 8 O, not 4 O. 8. And then what? 12 and then 16. I'll come back to the 12s. Actually, let's go ahead and put it in there. Call this 3 foot panel. There we go. Alright, and then we can do 16s. And then 20s. So I'll just go backwards from here. Makes no sense. So we got 8s. We'll go ahead and put our 12s in right here. 16, 16, 16. Let's save this and let's just see what happens. Let's save this as well. Let's come back here and let's wait. Where's my project? Did I close? Oh, I did close my project, didn't I? So let's bring that family in. And let's make sure it hosts properly. Let's do that, and let's do an interior door. And let's load that family. Excuse me. Doors, glass expanse door. And let's load all of them. So let's see what happens. Let's do a 6080. In each of these. And let's do a 20 foot in each of these. Alright, and of course we need to align it and see how that goes. Let's just see. So if I come in here and I click flush seal, and I'm curious if I do a floor, can I cut? Can't instance. Okay. So did I actually? I did not. So let's try that again and load it in. And it might be that I have to yeah, alright. So we'll have to figure that out. Alright, but I mean, it looks like, aside from getting my alignment proper, this is on the right track. Hey, what's up, Oser? Yes, I did change that. That's a keen eye. I did update that. So that's always been the way that I've spelled it in the past. And, hey, Amanda, how's it going? So I did update that. I've been trying to, kind of get the brand more on point with the way I wanted, now that I've got some downtime. So I've also got some recorded videos that I'm working on, some tutorials and whatnot, that I'm going to be posting over on the YouTube channel. So you want to head over there and see if you can find anything that you like over there. So I don't know. I'm hoping to maybe make this a little bit more than it is. We'll see what happens though. Right now working on a parametric door family, and right now it's working pretty well. I've got a couple things that I need to tweak for it before I actually put it into the wild for people to use. I do want to check my door schedule to see that everything is showing up properly. So we've got those that are coming in properly. We can probably go ahead and put the description in there. They're most likely going to be exterior. I wonder if I can set that up in the actual family here. Can I do that in here? Interior, so we can set these all to exterior. Can I do that in this? Can't. That really stinks. Oh. Can I load the types? So if I save this and close it, and then open that file again, will it load the actual types from the catalog? Or am I just SOL when it comes to wanting to batch update the interior and exterior properties of this? Alright, it did not load. The parameters. Let's see if there's a way to do that. Let's just do a quick search and see. Load type catalog when opening a family. See, it's answering the question that it thinks most people want, but I'm not most people. Alright, so one of the things that I've got to figure out is how do I want this to be offset? And I think I want to give the user an option of how this is offset from the wall. What do I think about generative design? I think it seems to be a buzz topic right now. I think that people have always been worried about robots taking over human design and making design soulless. I can guarantee you that so here's the thing. Yeah, generating it's going to be a different way to do it. You can go through multiple options very quickly. But probably what's going to be taught in school is that when you generate those designs quickly like that, you're losing your input into it, and it's going to be, poo-pooed upon in the academia, which probably means, based on the way that everything works in academia versus practice, that people will want to use it. And that's okay. I think it's okay to want to use it. I think that people are going to find that late in their career that the generative designs might help you get somewhere, but it's not going to do the full design for you. You're still going to have to do the documentation, and you're still going to be making the design decisions. So sure, you might be able to crank out like 50 design options, but who's really going to want to spend the time deciding between 50 options that the computer spit out? That's kind of what I think about it. So we're going to call this door offset from wall exterior. And we're going to make that an instance parameter. Do we want it to be an instance parameter? Or do we want it to be a type parameter? Let's make it an instance parameter because we might have it in a stone wall and we might have it in a stucco wall somewhere else. So I think that's what that's going to be. So, and I think typically, like if we say that this is a brick wall, if we look at our wall here, so we take a look at the assembly for this, I think we find that our brick is like, what, 4, which is incorrect, 4, 5, so we're about 5.5-ish inches. So we probably want that offset to be like 5 inches for brick. Now the problem is going to be if I make that the default, that it's going to have to be updated for stucco. So let's load this back into the project. So I wish I could just make this a function. Oh, they don't even use the function parameter? Why not? Yeah, so by the time you set up generative design, to crank out hundreds of different options, you probably could have put the same amount of time into figuring out, okay, this is what we want for this project. Now, where generative design is going to be great is if you need for your company standard, let's say you're doing residential, and you say, I want 12 different ways that this owner's suite can be set up, with bathroom, closet, and bedroom taking up so much square footage. Then you crank those out, maybe you've got 12 different options that you can actually use. So if it's kicking out options that you can use a majority of them, then that's great. But if it's kicking out, dozens of options and you have to pick one, I don't see that being very helpful, but I do see that being the way that it is going to be used a majority of the time. Yeah, so you see here, this door is sticking out through here because of the offset of the brick. So, we've got our offset here. We can make that like 2 inches, in which case it sits inside, just like that. Okay, I think that's the way we want it for that. And then if we change this to 6010, great. So the one thing that we're going to have to figure out is we've got a 12030 3-foot panel, And then we've got a 12030 or a 12080 4-foot panel. And right now they're both the same. Hold on. That's 10.0, that's why. Let's make this a 10.0. Okay, I can get rid of this because we know that works. I can go ahead and uncheck that. We'll figure that out later. So, what do we want to do about this? I think yeah, isn't Turkey the country that has like the entire village of Walt Disney inspired, like the Disney Castle inspired what is it, houses? I'm pretty sure that that's somewhere in Turkey. So it's literally like 300 houses that all look exactly the same. Are you saying congrats because of the faster render time? So yeah, Walmart's very repetitive, right? But that is not generative design. That is automated design where you have different modules that you need plugged into separate places. Generative design is where it's actually generating based on input that you've put in. So Walmart's, and I know this because I've worked with Walmart's, you have different modules that they say, okay, you can have different size module, but it has to be in this location. It's got to be left-hand oriented, right-hand oriented, where the auto center is either on the left or the right. Your deli is in a certain place and it can be this shape. Those are all modules that you plug in, and this is how many bays and aisles you have. This is the width and depth of the store. So that's not generative design. That is automated design. And I actually have worked with a guy, a good friend of mine, who was on the team who came up with one of the first automatings of the way that Walmarts are designed. So he had a script in AutoCAD where basically Walmart would order a store, and they would say, these are the specs for the store. And so with the Lisp routine, you'd go in and say, okay, this is the spec, check, 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 check. And you'd let it crank for about 15-20 minutes, and it would actually spit out the floor plan for that Walmart. You'd still have to go in and set up the documentation, but that is what he had set up. And they spent hours doing this, right? Getting that set up. But it also saved them hours of time. They were able to spit out Walmarts quicker than anyone else in the country. So that worked out for them pretty well. I don't use realistic and ray trace views a lot inside of Revit. I use Twinmotion and Lumion. But I haven't checked it out in 2021 yet, so we'll check and see. We'll see where that goes. So I think the biggest problem that we're gonna find here, I need to get this 3-foot and 4-foot panel thing working. Okay, that's just got to be. It has to happen. I have to make one of these 3-foot panels and one of these 4-foot panels, because right now one is a 3-foot panel and one is actually they're both 4-foot panels. So this one has to be a 3-foot panel. The other ones make sense. Like, so you can't have 4-foot panels in a 15-foot wide can't have 4-foot panels in a 15-foot wide door. It just won't work. You can make pretty realistic Revit renderings. I mean, let me see. I don't know. I'm sure you've seen this before. There it is. And why is it not showing up? That was synergy. So here you go. This is a rendering out of Revit. These are all renderings that were straight out of Revit. So you can definitely make it happen, right? This one's not as good, but it is also a rendering out of Revit. So, I mean, those took hours. But I think you can get very realistic output out of Revit. You've always been able to. It's just setting up the materials and the time that's put into it is way more than the time you put into getting a more or similarly realistic rendering out of something like V-Ray or Inkscape. I don't even know. I wouldn't even consider the stuff you get out of Inkscape realistic, but I don't know why they did. I don't think Autodesk can compete with the rendering market. Have you seen the material dialog box in Revit? I mean, they say they made it PBR materials, but it's like compare Revit's render materials, the PBR materials, with PBR materials that you can make. I mean, go look at what you can make in Materialize. Okay, this is a free piece of software if it opens. It actually well, maybe it's not going to open. Anyway, go look up Materialize PBR, download it, play with it, and in seconds you can have a much more realistic material than you can ever have in Revit with the 30 minutes to an hour that you'll spend setting up a material in Revit. Alright, so I'm working on these 3-foot and 4-foot panels. We need to get this taken care of. So I've got this is my assembly here. So let's look and see what we can do about let's do a 12080 3-foot. Excuse me, 12 feet. Let's do 12080 4-foot. And it's also going to be that. So that's the 4-foot. It's done. No need to worry about that. So how do we tell it to switch between a 3-foot panel and a 4-foot panel? The only thing that I can think of is that I can just make it I can just tell it, hey, use the other number, because you can see here that we have something that says use the 4 panels, use the min. So what I can say is number of panels. I can say if oh man, if what does this look like? This looks like, oh come on. So number of panels, integer, if, and we're going to have a button, right? A button is checked if use, oh crap, number of panels less than, so we're always using max at this point. And that's fine. So let's say with our yes condition, let's do this. If use min is checked, then we want to call number of panels min. Otherwise, if number of panels, so I think that's what we do, is we just add that right there. So we want to add a parameter called useMin. useMin. And that's going to be a type parameter. And we're going to put that under other for now, because it's going to be something that's hard-coded, not driven by the user. No, there's no existing Revit family for this. This is a pivot stack glass family, and we're really only halfway through. I've got to go through and show the swing of each of the original door, and also show the thickness of the stack in the plan, which is all going to use all these parameters to create. So I actually screwed that up, didn't I? So we need to make a new parameter called use minimum, and this is a yes no type parameter, and we're going to make that unchecked by default. We don't want that to be used by default. So then our number of panels, we're going to put another if. We're going to say if useMin is checked, then we want to use number of panels min. Otherwise, we want to do our other if statement. And you have to remember what you named your parameters in order for this to work. Number of panel. Oh, see, I did that twice. I put the wrong parameter name in there. Okay, so now if I check useMin, it does the other one. So if I come into 4-foot panels, that's fine. But if I do 3-foot panels, useMin is checked. And then we have 3-foot panels there. So that's kind of what I want. Let's load this in. And let's load that into the door. All right. And then we want to... Oh man, we have to associate type name. So in order for this to work, in order for me to make 12080 3-foot panel, so the width is 12 foot, 8 foot, brush still, and then if we want a 12080 4-foot panel, yes, I have thought about working part-time as an instructor at a college. Unfortunately, all the colleges that have approached me, or I have approached about doing that, do not like the idea that I do not have a degree. So they say it's policy that all their instructors have at least a minimum or associate's degree, and I have neither of those, so therefore I am not smart enough to teach. Which is unfortunate. I think, excuse me, I'm going to need an off-on parameter in here too to associate to this in order for this to work. So that's going to be a yes-no parameter. And it's going to be off by default, right? We want that set off by default. 3-foot. Oh my goodness. Is it going to go through and did it? Okay. Let's try this again. useMin. Like what degree? Like any degree. High school graduate is not high enough level education to teach college. I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking what the school's asking for, or are you asking what I have? Yes, no. Type. There used to be a way to set the default. I think I need to do this. So I'm going to set that like that, and then oh man, why is it doing this? There used to be a way to make this the default. Okay. I think this is what we're gonna do. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. How do you do this? Use min. Off on. Other. Let's make it instance. And let's uncheck that. But it's still... Man. That is so frustrating. Alright, I'm gonna look this up because that's... Revit yes no default off. Yeah, so I think this is once you already have it in the software. Well, or sorry, once you already have it in a model. Oh my lord. Sure, so you got it set as a type parameter. Yep. 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 I get it. Okay, so what do I do? Ah. That's right. Hey. Is that not, okay, so for the 3-foot panel, we want to use the min. Apply. What? Did it automatically associate it? Oh, that's interesting. By default, it is using the minimum now. I gotta go back and fix this in the main family now. Okay, because it's automatically setting this. Oh, jeez. Apply that to all. And then 3-foot panel, apply that. So then 4-foot panel, apply. There we go. Now let's load that back into the door. Holy cow. I have an architecture license, yes. What else do they need? They need a degree. Most schools by policy will not let an instructor who does not have a degree teach. And the philosophy is that if you don't have a degree, then you're probably not qualified or educated enough to give other students the proper education that they need in order to succeed, essentially. Oh man. Alright, so essentially what's happened here families, we want to get rid of these different types. We don't really care about these types. Jeez. Let's come in here and let's just call this the default. Actually, which one do I have loaded in all these? I think it's 6080. Oh, screw you. Okay, so this is default. And then we want this to be, we have a type parameter called useMin, and we want this to be set to useMin. Okay. So now, when we go back and forth between 12-foot and 3-foot panel, apply. Boom. So now if we load this into, first of all, let's save. So now if we load this into here, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's load this into here. Alright, give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Great. Well,
Oh, really?
well. Hey, boy. All right, and we're back. Alright, so we've got those in there. Let's look and see now. Oh, we don't need to save this project. So 12 of 3 panels, 3-foot panels. I should now have... Why is that an instance parameter? That should not be an instance parameter. I'm pretty sure I made that. Oh, I made an instance parameter because let's make it tight. So this should now be useMin. That's correct. But this one should not have it. And I think just by default, because I added that, it's on like that. So I think now what I need to do is come back to the family, because now we've got 2 separate ones here. So what we want to do is come back to this and export again. Let's export our family types to that. And then let's come open that in here. Update. I should have... Oh, it's not in here. Oh, functions in here. Oh, useMin. There it is. The 3-foot panel is on. And then, so I wonder now, So let's look and see what our parameters look like. Exterior for that. Exterior for that. So 6080 should be interior. Yep. Okay. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to bring this here, and we're going to bring this. Can we not? Yes, we can. Bring this here. So we want a usemin and other and function. Function is not already in here. Shoot. Frame projection. Exterior, interior. Frame width is in there as well. Height. You've got all closure. Other with door offset from wall exterior we also need. Okay, so we want this. We're going to bring this in right here. Okay, so we need to add frame projection exterior, frame projection interior. Are those actual? Yes, those. Frame projection interior, exterior. I think those are set in. Oh, materialize finally open. Yeah, so we got. I wonder if there's an update available to this. I don't even know that I remember how to use this. Let's just come in here, and I think I've got some textures. So let's just do a brick texture. Sure, let's just do. Oh, this is a good one. Let's do this Texas cream here. Except I can't. So our normal, or is it diffuse? I think diffuse is the first one. So let's open that. Oh, it's being slow. Wait. I don't know where it's bringing this in from. Where is it bringing that in from? Clear. Normal map. Clear. What? I've completely forgotten how to make how to bring this. Oh, here it is. Open. Duh. Jeez. Oh, I wonder if I can just drag it in. That's probably what I need to do. I need to bring this and drop it right here, maybe. Maybe not. Okay, here we go. Masonry. Texas cream. There we go. There's our diffuse, and it looks pretty flat, right? But what we can do is let's create the height map. And then it's going to let's really work those contrasts there. See, the problem is the mortar is the same color here, so we actually need to not use that. But we do want it to be very, let's make it kind of contrasty. Set aside that. What is the... I'm just gonna, yeah, let's just do that. Excuse me. So you can see that you can actually get, you know, a PBR pretty quickly from that image. And I didn't really do a whole lot. Let's see, how do I edit this? Go full material. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that either. I think I keep resetting this. I don't want to recreate it. I just want to edit it. Anyway, you get the idea. Parallax displacement. I can bring that parallax down to be pretty flat, and then we can just barely kind of bump it there. So anyway, you get the idea. So you can't do this in Revit. There's no way you could ever render something with this type of depth from an image in Revit. So anyway, that's the materialize program. All right, back to this, and I think we're pretty close. And so I think what I want to do is let's go in and basically just delete this door family. Oh, that's right. I was creating the catalog still, wasn't I? So we've got function. Okay, so we do have function already. So I just need this use min. And I think we're going to tack these onto the end instead of having to worry about other, and then we need door offset here. So let's put that here. And that door offset, I think we had it set to like 5 inches for everything. Oh, this is 5 inches. So we're going to have to put the use min, and use min is only going to be on the 3-foot panels. So I'm just going to go and copy this on all of them. And on this one, I'm just going to make it like that. 3-foot panel. Oh Lord, Revit has the file open. For some reason, Revit likes to lock these, so I have to completely close Revit in order to update. And even then, it takes it a minute to release the file. It's not open. Okay, now it's saved, so now I can reopen Revit. that's quite the oversight. I'm going to open this and just kind of clean up the type properties real quick for all of these, making sure that everything is set properly. Exterior on that, exterior on that. I feel like I should probably also check to make sure that the comments and description maybe already is set up. Let's see. Door offset from wall exterior. Man, why is this? Set on that and not on that. So we've got some that are already loaded. And let's just go ahead and I used to have a left-handed mouse, and then I just got tired of not being able to use good mice. So I just decided that, you know what, I do everything else right-handed, so why not use a mouse right-handed? Finger health is pretty good. I stretch regularly, but I also have I have this that I've been using for most of my career, something like this. I also used a G700, which was a very nice ergonomic mouse. Mouse really makes a difference. I need to repair that mouse. Right now I'm using this little Logitech because this one needs to be repaired. Is not acting properly. But yeah, I mean, you need to stretch it regularly. I had a friend in high school who by his junior year had been using mouse and keyboard so regularly that he would be sitting in class and his nerve damage was so bad that his arms would just jump like that. And it was pretty bad. By the way, I'm curious. Streamlab OBS is telling me that my stream health is horrible. Is it lagging? Or what's the issue? I highly recommend investing in a good mouse. So what's up with the voice? Because I am playing with the audio settings. Does it sound like it's degrading, like the audio quality is degrading? Hopefully the voice is much improved from previous. Oh yeah, when I scroll the mouse. So I do have I think the device cable, the USB cable that I have going to my mouse is really bad. So I'm waiting for the new cable to come in for that. And yeah, so with this mouse, that's pretty bad. And I know my keyboard too. And there's just nothing that I can do about that because I'm not changing my mouse just to stream. But my normal mouse doesn't have the clicking of the mouse wheel. So hopefully I get my mouse fixed soon so that you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's the issue with the voice, is the mouse scrolling. That makes me feel a little bit better. The voice quality should be much better because I have updated my rig, so I now have my microphone up off of the desk, so you don't have to hear me bump every time I bump the desk. You don't hear a loud thud anymore, and the keyboard clacking shouldn't be as loud, but hopefully it is much improved from what it used to be. Anyway, so let's get back to this. There were a couple other things that I needed to fix on it. I've updated that, so let's just do a new project. So I've noticed that on my streams, on my screen it looks fine, and I think so. Part of the problem is I have ultra wide monitors, so I've got ultra wide set up for the screen portion, and then I thought I had the proportions of the rest of it set up to be normal, but I noticed that it is compressing it in, and I have dual ultra wide, so I've got yeah, I can do this. So I've actually got Revit over here, and I've got all my other stuff, this monitoring my stream and chat, whatnot, over there. So I like it. It's a good setup. It's very useful. It is a lot of neck panning, but I don't care. I've tweaked this setup slowly over the years, and I really enjoy it. So where were we? We were making a stone wall and putting a door in it. Right. So what happens if I load this in? Cancel. Do I get a family catalog if I do that? No, I do not. So I have to load this from the file. So let's go door, load family, and let's go to our doors, glass glass, come on now, glass wow, glass expanse door. And then, so we've got our catalog. I'm just going to load everything in. We're just going to check and make sure that everything works. Yes, I've selected many types. It's fine. The ergonomic keyboard, the Microsoft ergonomic, I never could get used to that. I never thought that it was actually ergonomic. Where you got your elbows out like this to do the keys. Let's put a 3-foot panel in there. And let's put a 4-foot panel in there. And I'm a little concerned as to why it's not cutting properly. I'm going to have to go back and update that. Okay, so we've got our 3-foot or 4-foot panel, or sorry, 4-foot and 3-foot panels in there. And they're correct. And I'm just going to, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this out. And we're just going to drop one of every type in here. Let's do that. And at this point, what I'm doing is just testing to make sure that all the flexing works. And then let's bring this down. This is the 3-foot. This is the 4-foot. Let's do 3-foot, 4-foot. You know, I got the Razer Black Widow because it was on clearance, and it's turned out to be a really good keyboard. I get the hairy eye from coworkers when I start using it because I do type fast, and it uses blue cherries, and they're pretty loud. but I really enjoy it, and I've got macro keys along the side that I use frequently, or used to use frequently. So yeah, macro keys are good. Buying a new tower for Revit, what should be considered first? CPU first. Multi-threaded is good now because most of the processes in Revit are multi-threaded. So you really want multiprocessor and high clock speed. So you want to try to get as close to 4 gigahertz as possible. Revit supports GPU in rendering. So the better the GPU, the better for redrawing your sheets. So a better GPU, if you're going back and forth between sheets, if you rotate something or move something around, if you have a bad GPU, it's going to take forever to re-render that. I'll show you. I have a workstation comparison spreadsheet that you can take a look at. Workstation comparison builds. Oh, you still have that file? Yeah, so you can take a look at it and see what different GPUs and different CPUs did for the it should be, can comment, yes. I mean, my old stage, so I've got a 1030 and 60 in this machine, and my machine that I have, my personal machine, I think has a 780 in it, and it did pretty well. I mean, the workstation that I built actually beat most of the workstations that were being used at firms where someone had like built a commercial grade 780, 3 gigabytes of RAM. So this GTX 780 kicked the pants off of most of the other GPUs that were in. So this is one that they put together at yes, I think a Quadro GPU is a waste of money for our profession. So anyway, yeah, I think gaming grade GPUs are fine for what we do, unless you're doing like extreme calculations and you need corporate support and error controlled, what is it, the ECC memory basically, then sure, go for your Quadros and your what's the AMD version, whatever the AMD corporate version is. So anyway, where was I? I think it was at the 4-foot panel, so 15068. $15,080, 1668, 1680, 18. I've run out of room again, and this is going to have to be taller. I have a feeling that's not going to be enough space. Alright, so now we want to check the schedule and see if there's anything we need to update in the schedule. And it really irks me that they don't use the function. Oh geez, why did that happen? What the crap? Why are they all interior? Alright. I could have sworn. Oh, shoot. Wait. I'm gonna go change all of these. Pretty sure. Should be one and all the other ones, right? Yeah. These should all be one. These are all exterior. Ugh. Never restart Revit in order for this to work. Alright, well I know I need to change that now, so. I am using Notepad++ to create a family catalog so that when I load it, it loads all of the parameters in. So if I go to make a new project here, and I want to create a door, and let's say load family. When I click on Glass Expanse Door, when I hit open, it's going to give me an option here to see all of these right here. So that's what I'm doing basically. So if I open this family, you'll see that there's only 5 family types in here, and that's what I use to actually test the family. But I created like 30 other family types just by duplicating these lines. So I copied and pasted all these lines and then just updated the parameters that needed to be updated. So that's what's going on there. Let's make sure that the offset is good on all of these. And I'm almost tempted to go in and change the offset so that it is automatic. Because right now, if I go in and I look at the floor plan, we'll see that it kind of sits pretty close to the brick there. I don't think it's going to matter that much though. So if I change this to an interior wall, like this, so now it's like way back here. But I've created a parameter where I can change this to be like 2 inches. So I can change that offset like that. And then the other thing is too, is like we use stucco a lot. So if I come in here and I change this to stucco on 5.5 inch. So now I can come in here and make this 2 inch. So I could program that and say that I want that to be, you know, a switch between stone and stucco, but I don't think that's what I want. This file size change. Well, I mean, if you load more family types in, yeah, the file size changes because you're loading more information in, but you're not loading geometry, and it's automatically creating the geometry when it needs that. So you could say it's procedural, kind of, So it's a way to create, so I'm not loading all of these family types into the family file, so the family file itself stays fairly small compared to if I created a family file with all of these catalog types in it. So there's a couple things that I want to do. I think the first thing that I want to do is on the left side, I'm going to create a door swing for this. Now the question is do I do this in the door family or the assembly family? I think we do it in the assembly family. So because that way we can load this in and not be based on the wall itself. So if we go to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, yes, please load. I gotta find my door swing family, which I don't know if they've got that in there. They probably don't. And I bet that I cannot access. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Go to network. See if it'll let me access. You know what? Forget that. I'm just going to go find it over here. HCHH. Yeah, nope, not gallery. Storage. Pearl. Creative Solutions. Revit library. And I don't know if this is going to be under doors or detail components. What do we think? AU door swing, there it is. Ah, cancel. Bring that in there. So family catalogs are a great way when you have a family that's got a ton of family types in it to keep the file size down. And make it, you know, oh shoot. Annotation. Yeah, you know, make it a little bit more efficient, essentially. Is it a symbol? What did I just load? Families, annotation symbols, doors. I am really confused. Did I not just load? Ugh, whatever. Hey, thanks for that. Appreciate you joining us there. I think we're going to flip that right there. And we're going to align this right on the end. And the width of this, let's go ahead and align it to the front of our panel also. There we go. Right there. Let's lock that. Did I lock this other one here? Doesn't look like I did. Alright, so let's update this a little bit. We want this to be, the thickness is actually pretty thin. It is, I think it's like 1.24 inches. We're going to do 1.25 inches thick. And man, I wonder if I should update this so that it shows the glazing panel. Let's come back to that. The width needs to be panel width. Okay, just like that. So that's exactly what we want. Let's make a parameter for panel swing. So panel swing angle. This is going to be, oh, you know what I can do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create this by going in here. And let's make a new parameter. Panel swing angle. Alright. And we can now change this to 45 if we want, although we're probably never going to need that. Okay. Are you working on any metric projects? No. I was one time working on an inch project. It's really hard to translate between centimeters and inches. Yep, it's also difficult to translate between inches and centimeters. You shouldn't break up with the project though, especially in Revit. I don't know if you know this, but you don't have to convert between them, right? So if you know a dimension, right, and you know it in meters, you can type in 1 meter, right? So 1 m or 1 centimeter, right? Or in your case, you could say 10 inches, right, or feet, and it'll automatically update that. So if I change the let's change the units to metric here. So length, let's change this to I think probably centimeters would be good for this project, so I'm going to do that. All right, so I can come in here and I can just change this to 12 inches, and it's going to make that centimeters. All right, so you shouldn't have to divorce a project just because you're having trouble translating. You work in the units that work for you and let Revit do the translating between them. I do this with families from the European library quite a bit. They all are in metric. So what I do is I leave the project units in metric, and I just put in the dimensions that I need, and go like that. I know, but projects, you know it, but the projects don't have any DWG files. It's copy paper. Okay. So they have dimensions on them, right? Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but I mean, that shouldn't be a reason that you stop working on a project. You can't let Revit dictate whether or not you can do something. You have to tell Revit that you are going to do it that way. All right, so I have put these parameters here that I have a feeling are important, but for some reason they're not. So let's check. Let's just check and see with, let's say 20 feet, and let's make sure that our door goes with it. Yes, it does. Perfect. And let's say, let's do a 12 foot that uses the minimum. Perfect. And let's save that. Right, and the last thing that I want to do is I want to create a stack depth here. So essentially, I want to create some symbolic lines that show how wide the stack is going to be if this whole thing is open, right? So let's create, what we're going to do is we're going to create excuse me. I think we're just going to go from here. It's probably not 100% accurate, but it will at least give us a buffer. So this is going to be stack width. Oh, goodness. Let's try that again. Stack width. All right, and that's going to be equal to our panel width. And then we're going to have another parameter right here. It goes from the left side to here, and this is going to be called stack depth. Okay. What about Corona? How's it going in America? A turkey life is done. Numbers are not crazy for now, but they start to take action limitation. Yeah, so about a month and a half ago, actually, I guess it was about a month and a half ago. It was in fact during one of the big events that I was hoping to do some networking in. They started closing everything down. In fact, our event was canceled the last day. That's the last Sunday of our event, so we didn't get to do that last day of networking. And, you know, in the U.S., I think the U.S. right now has some more cases than any other country in the world, and I think we've surpassed most places in deaths, in terms of reported. So government is making suggestions, but there's really no way to enforce that. So you have people doing dumb things, just like you do anywhere, right? So for me, work has pretty much stopped. I finished, yeah, but the official numbers, right? We're talking about the reported numbers, right? We all have our suspicions. So for me, work is done until restrictions are lifted. So I'm trying to stay pretty positive in terms of what's going to happen later. I don't know. Things are okay for now, but we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. What did I just click there? I have to pay attention to what I'm doing now. Symbolic lines. There we go. And then I want this to be right here. Why can I not see? There it is. There we go. This industry being construction. So what's really interesting is that there's a lot of construction stuff that's still going on. Yeah. All right. So for this parameter, stack width is essentially going to be this is panel width, and then stack depth is going to be we're going to make it 1.5 inches, so a 1/4 inch between each panel. So it's going to be number of panels times 1.5 inches. And that's our stack depth right there. So if all these panels were stacked up, that's how deep it would take up right there. Okay. So the next question is, if I save this and I load it into the project, we're going to load this into Glass Expanse Door. So right. So we now have this. We have our stack depth, and we want to give visibility control so that we can actually show how some of this works. So let's save this and let's load this into our project. We had all these loaded into. Override. Oh, you know what else I need to do is I need to offset the swing so that if there's a finish on the floor, that it doesn't get covered up. You know, I don't mean any offense to your dad, but yeah, I don't think what we need right now is economic stimulus. Sure, you got to keep things going and people have to be fed and paid, but building a building right now isn't going to do anything for the people who can't go anywhere. And it's not going to get people business, like, okay, so you build a building and you put businesses in it and everything's on lockdown for 3 months. Well, guess what? Those businesses are going to go out of business because they've started their business when there's no business to be had. So I think that the construction industry lobbyists have done a really good job of convincing the government that they need to stay open here in the U.S. I don't fully believe. Oh, afterwards, absolutely. But I mean, what industry isn't going to be key, right? I mean, I don't think there's any one industry that really carries the title of, if we don't have this, then we don't have economic stimulus. I mean, New York City can have a great economy without any more construction going on. They've got businesses galore in the existing buildings that they have. And I guarantee you there's enough abandoned and empty buildings to where you wouldn't need any construction in New York City to have a decent tax year. Oh yeah, there's a lot of industries where new hires are going to be very important. So those stack boxes don't seem to really be of much value. So I'm going to go back into this glass assembly, and we need to adjust some stuff here. So we need this stuff right here needs to not show up. Visibility settings when cut in plan. Okay. And then we need to edit this as well, edit family. This needs to not show up when cut in plan. Save that. Yes. Yeah, so there's a lot to be said for that. I've been shopped pretty heavily by quite a few firms asking what I'm going to do after coronavirus. And some of them are fairly tempting. Some of them require relocation and giving up a lot of things that I'm currently doing that I enjoy doing. So I'm kind of hesitant to take those opportunities, but man, are they, I mean, like, it's those opportunities that you feel kind of stupid passing up. Let's do that. Let's save that. And then let's load this into our door. And then let's load this into our project and see if that helped our graphic settings. I heard my kids crying. It was weird. Hey, thanks Amanda for helping me make it to 100 messages today. It's a little scary that Restream is monitoring my chat, but hey, you know, that's what you get when you sign up for free services. Are you looking to work in South Korea? And Oser. Thank you, Oser. Let's see. Did that fix that? It did. Perfect. This is awesome. This is working really well. The next question is, either going back to South Korea for a year. That'd be pretty awesome. How's the dating situation for that? Because you were in a relationship. If you don't mind me asking. Oh. Alright, so we gotta figure out how to... Do we just tell them that they need to edit profile on this to get rid of that last sliver of wall, or do I work a solution into the door family or corner? So it'd be like that. Let's turn off... Goodness. I need to make it so you can turn those off. Science base is that the science Korea or the soldier Korea? I like that. I'm going to turn the frames off. Let's do visibility. Frames off. I think I misnamed that. Now if I load into the project. Overwrite. Come on, Revit. Wife? Wait a second. Weren't you engaged? Did something happen between all those missed streams? There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe that's too high. I think that's satisfactory. Okay, so not legally married, but you're at that point in the relationship where you're saying that, yeah. I think that works. I think maybe we have to figure out how to put a closure piece in the corner if we want to do a corner or something like that. All right, so I think the next phase is making an open status, so you can make these all open. And maybe, do I want to do a 3D swing on one of them? I don't think so. Yeah, well, I had to use an edit profile, and I think that's easy enough to where I'm not going to worry about putting a solution in the door family, like a void cut or something like that. So, and it looks pretty good like this too. So I think this works for what I'm doing. Start learning families 0 to 100% for everything, and start to think Linda courses. You could also do Linda courses. Paul Aubin's a good resource. Best methods, honestly, is going and finding a product you like. So use this for instance. My business partner said, "Hey, we need a family for this." So I went and did some research on the product itself, and I was like, "Okay, let's start making this family." I started simple, and this is how I started doing families. I started very simple. I want to make a table. Great. I made a table, and I was like, well, I need to make the size change. So how do I make the sizes change? Okay, so I started finding ways through Revit City at the time, and looking for ways to make things parametric. And I started playing with different methods for making things parametric. And really, once you start understanding constraints and parametrics, your whole Revit world just changes, because you start to see how Revit constrains everything, and you start to understand the program in a completely different light. And you also have much more control over the way things work. So I highly recommend just tinkering. I know it doesn't, you're going to hit a spot where you're like, I just don't know how to accomplish that. That's what we're here for. That's what the community is there for. You go find, hit revitforum.org and you say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Any suggestions? And you get feedback on that. I think that that's just as valid of an option as taking a course. The courses, I do have 5 years. I have more than 5 years editing family experience, but when I started, I had 0 years editing, so I had to start somewhere also. I will say that one thing that really helped me is I already had a good foundation in 3D modeling, so I understood what extrusions, revolves, sweeps, blends, and all that stuff was already. So just getting in and tinkering, getting a good idea of in a family how to create those different shapes really helps. So if I come in and I do new family, and we just do generic model, there we go. So understanding everything up here, like understanding how to make an extrusion, a blend, a revolve, a sweep, and a swept blend really helps, and understanding what those different things can do. I also, one of my other breakthroughs was understanding work planes. Okay, so I will say that one of the things that I've been hoping to resurrect is my tutorial plans. So I did start a making families tutorial. I really need to find. So I'm going to start families 2.2. Let's see. Start families. I really wish it didn't. Like, I just want to see the headlines of this. Making families are fun, so I do have a series right here, and I want to update this on how do you make a family, right? So I'm thinking about going back and revamping the ones that I already have and making new ones as well. So the names are the same, the idea is the same, so you understand the difference between an extrusion and a sweep, right? So an extrusion, you're extruding a profile out a certain depth, and a sweep is very similar to extrusion, but it's along a path that you can change. So as long as you understand those differences, I've found that an extrusion is an extrusion everywhere, and a sweep is a sweep everywhere. A revolve is a revolve. It's like every Hello World rendering tutorial starts with revolving a profile to make a glass, wine glass that you can render, or at least the ones that I did when I started. So anyway, so I've got my swing in, I've got my stack showing there. Let's do an open state. Let's do an open state. So what I mean by that is I want to come in and make these guys disappear. So we need the parameter. So let's do closed, closed, and open. So let's do closed. This is going to be on by default. Instance. And yes, no. Yo. Yes. Yes. Okay. And this is going to be under graphics. We're going to put this under graphics here. Closed. And then we're going to make one called open. Instance. Yes, no. And I put that in the wrong place. So we're going to edit that parameter and put it back up under graphics as well. So I hope that I know it seems wait, what's happened? And yes, before your channel name change, bots spawning your blog at chat. Oh, spamming my blog. I turned that off because when people aren't in my stream, it's just like hundreds of messages of my bot. So I didn't want that to be the case. I guess I could turn that back on. I'd rather that be in part of the channel description. So I don't know. We'll go back and we'll see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to worry about visibility here in a second. But what I need to do first is I need to come back to here. We can close that one. I need my nope, cancel. I need my top-down view, and we're going to create. We're going to put our panels in just like that. And let's see, which one is the front? That's the back, so we need to rotate this. And we're going to align this, the pivot point. Man. I feel like I'm going to put it inside the stack box here, right? So it's probably not correct once again, but I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do that, right? And then we're going to array this. We're going to take this to our last one. We're going to do it right here. And then we can go ahead and make this number of panels as well. And then we're going to align our last panel to that, and also to that. So we've got our 1/4 inch gap in between there. And we also need to, from the front, oh boy, back. There we go. Let's move this guy so we can see what's going on. We need to align to the reference level. The reference level? bring this out of the way too. Let's bring this out here. Oh, Amanda's been in this channel for a long time. Yes, we used to auto ban people who talked about AutoCAD in the channel, but that got out of hand really fast, so we don't do that anymore. I think this is. Oh, hold on a second here. I think we're okay on this. Let me. We need to tie some things together here. So frame depth, height, frame width. So height. Oh my lord. Where are all of my... I've got all these tied. Oh, panel height and panel width. Why were those not showing up in this one? It is. Okay. So if I change the height here to 10 feet, are we good on this? I think we are. Okay, so we've gotten that right there. So now what we want to do is we change the visibility options to basically, for the array, visible. I think I have to go into edit group and change it this way. This is when it's closed. Okay. And we just want to make sure I'm going to go in here and edit the group on this one too. And make sure, yep, that's set properly. And then in this array group, we're going to change it to visible open. Finish. Right, so now open and close. So open is going to be not closed. All right. So we should have some stuff graying out. Close, open. Okay. All right, let's save this and see what happens. I feel like these should be. That's set up properly. I feel like they should be graying out if they're not visible. But we'll see what happens. So let's load this into our door. Override existing. And then we want to make an instance parameter here that controls basically we have to do the same thing. Every time we load this in, we have to do the same thing over and over again. So we got closed, but that's okay because we're giving it lots of functionality. Yes, no. Okay. Let's put this down in graphics, as well as open. In graphics. Open is not closed. By default, we want it to be closed. That's fine. Said okay on that. And boy, I feel like hey, there it goes. Now watch this. This is where it gets a lot of fun. So we're going to load this in to our project. All right. And so let's say you've got this door in now and you want to do a rendering with this door in an open position. And you can see, so you're talking about whether or not that family takes up a lot of space. So you can see it's having to update all these families that I've loaded in now. All the parameters. It's adding the new parameters into all of these families. So this is why you want to do your family development outside of a project, and you kind of want to have it done before you bring it in. So it's taking a long time to get this in because I've got like 30 instances of this in here. So you can see now, perfect. All my doors are open. This looks great, I think. We can maybe figure out a way to put a closure piece on there if it's asked for. I don't think we really need to. I'm gonna throw a floor in here. Let's just put like a concrete floor down. I can't because I don't have a freaking concrete floor. So I've got this other property where I can make it a flush seal. So there we go. Now that seal is flush with the floor. I would like to be able to cut the floor, but that's not working yet. I think I have to make that a shared family in order to do that, but I'm not too worried about that right now. So let's go through and just see if that works. So for some reason it's set to close, but it is open. So we need to figure that out. Edit family. Okay. So we've got, by default, they're closed. Did I not? So I did not set this to correspond to that. So now, let's load that back in. For everyone else watching, thanks for stopping by. Feel free to ask questions in chat. I'm happy to answer them when I can. Right now I'm working on a parametric door family based on the Glass Expanse product, which you can find at glassexpanse.com. Not a sponsor. They have a pretty cool system, and it looks like we're going to be speccing them in a lot of our Texas houses. This is kind of similar to NanoWall. I suggest you checking them out. It looks like a pretty cool product if you're looking for a glass door to put in. I have not heard back from them in terms of getting some contact or some technical information, but I'm hoping that maybe they'll like what they see when they take a look at this. So we can see here that now we've got the ability to open and close these. So this looks great, I think. We can open and close them individually. If we go to the floor plan, we can see how that affects the graphics. I don't know. I think this is great. Maybe what I do. No, I think I'm going to leave that swing like that, even when it's open. We're going to leave that just the way it is. So I do need to come back into my assembly family, and oops, on this. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. This, I need to take this and offset it by, we're just going to offset it by 2 inches. That way, if there's a finish on the floor, it's not, oh, I'm not done streaming yet. I was just thanking the people who are showing up. Finish parameters? You mean like the materials? So I have set all of these up to take advantage of the frame, the subcategory properties. So if I go look at, let's see, this right here. So if I want to change the properties for this door, I'm going to come in and let's say, where is it? Under Manage, Object Styles, under Doors, Glazing, I can change the glass settings by doing this. So let's say I want this to be more of a kind of a forward green. So we do that and hit apply, and that should update this glass. We'll see if it does or not. There we go. And if I want to change the frame and mullion to something else, I can come in here and let's say aluminum anodized black. Sure, let's do that. And then if I hit apply on that, that should update these. Oh, still working on it. This is the problem with having several instances of a family in a project, and you're updating visibility stuff. So yeah, Ozer, like I said, I'm gonna try to start making that creating families tutorial again. If you have anything else that you'd like to see, feel free to leave comments. I don't really have a good way to track the chat log anymore, and I don't have time to go back and rewatch my streams to see what comments were left. But you can hop in Discord, or there's a couple ways in the channel description to send me something if you'd like to see a tutorial for it, and I will put that on my list. So you can see now that updated that. Now, I am thinking that I might want to be able to separate this from the door subcategory itself. So what I might actually do, thanks to Amanda's suggestion here, is I might actually come in, and I think the glazing I want to all be the same, right? Oh yes, I remember Stair to Heaven. You want me to do a video on creating Stairway to Heaven? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a new subcategory of doors, and I'm going to call this Glass Expanse Frame, like that. And let's see. So Glass Expanse Frame. Okay, and I'm going to leave the glazing the way it is, and I'm going to take these and I'm actually going to change those to Glass Expanse Frame. That way, if we have a different door, like if we want a front door that's a different color, we have a different subcategory. I think it's going to take longer than 30 minutes for me to get back into Stairway to Heaven. It's been a while since I've done that. So I'm going to save this. Yes, let's replace that, and I'm going to load that into my assembly. So if you've been watching this, you've noticed that I've got 3 different families basically. I've got the panel family, which I'm using to array, and then I have an assembly family, and then I have a door family. They're all actually door categories, but I am doing that so that I can bring this door assembly into either a face-based or a wall-based or floor-based or roof-based family type, and I have all the functionality of my door in that. All I have to do is set up parameters in the new family and link all of the parameters to my door assembly. I can also bring it in just by itself with no host object if I needed to do that. I like setting up very complex families in this manner. If I know it's going to be something that's always going to be hosted in a wall, then I will do it that way. This is something that I might need to put into a curtain wall. This is something that I might need to put into something. Who knows? And it was complex enough to where I didn't want to be tied to just a wall component. So that's why I did it this way. And let's see. I think that is all. So I need to set up a new... Yep, I already have it. So because I loaded that panel in, you can see that I already have the Glass Expanse Frame into this family now. So I'm going to take these frames and I'm going to change them to... Just kidding. All right, now. There we go. I have that void in there because I'm trying to cut the floor. In fact, you know what? We might try to change that. So let's do shared. Let's make this a shared family. I'm going to save this now. And so now we've got that void that's showing up right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this into the door family. Door, that's right. Right, existing. Yes, that's fine. And let's just check and see how things look here. And I think I have Glass Expanse Frame in here. There's nothing in this. So I think what I might do for this is I might just make this Glass Expanse Frame also so it can match. And I'm tempted to go and make something that kind of covers this right here. Maybe that's later. We'll see. So let's load this in to our project. And I'm getting an extra dialogue when I load this in because I made it a shared family. So, oh boy, what have I done? So that shared family did not like that at all, but I am curious now. I can now cut the floor, or not. So it doesn't like cutting the door itself. That doesn't seem to work very well, so I'm just going to undo that. So I'm going to make this not shared. I'm going to save that. We're going to load that back in to our door family. You cannot load a non-shared version of the Revit's a jerk sometimes. So I'm going to undo that load family, and we're going to come back here to... Okay. Assembly, no longer shared. Let's save this. I'm going to load this back in to our door family. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, wait. This is assembly. Wait, what? Load into door. Got so many things open. Where's the door family? There it is. So why can't I load this? You cannot load a non-shared version of the family because a shared version of it is already loaded. Well, you know what? I don't want that to be in there anymore. See, but it's not shared, that's the thing. Okay, so apparently it has to be shared now. So I get to solve that problem. So let's just go through and check a different type here. Let's do a 2010. Can't make cutouts. Well, that's interesting. What have I done to this family? So apparently now because it's shared, I can also no longer associate parameters. What the crap? I have never seen this happen before. Well, hopefully that'll load eventually. So this is going to be really frustrating if this thing has set a tag inside the door family. So I wonder if I can do this. Let's do this. Let's come here. Let's undo that until we've got this set. Let's edit this family. And then let's see if we can have this not shared. Save that. Load into the door. But it's not shared. Not load a non-shared version of the family glass expanse assembly because a shared version was already loaded. It's not though. This is the door. Turn to... No. So in our project, we know that it's not shared at this point. We go to edit family here. Let's save this and close that. So if I go to this, edit family, it's not shared. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and I'm going to open ours, and I'm going to load this into the door project. Okay. Whew. That is so weird. Let's see if there's anything on that. So, okay. So when you make a shared family, you cannot associate type parameters, only instance parameters. Well, that's good to know. I don't think I've ever run into that in the past. Okay, so I think we're back to having something that works. I think, though, I'm going to have to go back and, let's see, redo our object styles. Yeah. So let's open up our panel. I should probably rename this, right, to Glass Expanse Panel. Manage object styles. That's good. Let's load this into projects. Alright, there we go. So now we have Glass Expanse Frame in there. I'll change this to Glass Expanse Frame. Save that. Load it into the door. And then we can set these to Glass Expanse Frame. And I think I am going to go ahead and make a jam piece that covers the edge of the wall here. And it's going to be very thin. And it's not going to be very accurate. Yeah, perfect. Actually, I think I want to do like something like this, where it steps ever so slightly. It's going to be what? Do I really want to go through this trouble? I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to make people paint stuff. If I wanted to go through that, I wanted to do it. I would want to do it properly. So I think we're going to be fine just like this. And we're going to load this into our project. And I think too, we're going to go ahead and make sure that the object styles work on this. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm missing in terms of getting this to work properly. But I think we're pretty much there. Come on, Revit update. So let's go through, let's just make sure that if we go to manage, styles, doors, we have glass expanse frame. Let's just make that black, anodized metal. Why can't I select that? It's a mystery. I'm not sure what I've done here. There we go. And in glazing, let's just make this something that's a little bit... Wow, this materials dialog box is slow. I'm curious here. Alright, so where were we? We were making this kind of a greenish, forward green, kind of. I wonder if there's a Pantone color for forward green. Ooh, there is. A8CCD7. Oh, but we don't have hex, so that's not helpful at all. 168.204.215. Oh, Encyclopedia. Might have to remember that. Right, I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping this up and having a family that can be used. So the question is, when I send this, alright, so that looks good. Let's go to our floor plan. Let's just make sure that looks okay still, and it does. I mean, I'm not sure what else you can really ask for on that. Okay. I think we're gonna have to have, it actually cleans up fairly nice. So, I don't know. It's gonna have to, they're gonna have to make a decision about how they want to work with that. No, oh, I think that's because the profile cut. So if I reset profile, I think that fixes that. That's good. So I can bring this and drop it right there, and that should be good on that front. So I think we're good on that. What else do I need on this? I feel like I'm forgetting something in terms of functionality. Let's check the schedule. Jeez. Oh, that's right. I needed to check and see if my updated catalog works for that. And then I wanted to see under fields, let's use comments. Is comments an instance parameter? Comments. Comments. Let's go back and look at that schedule. Yes. So I cannot I can't set that. I don't think in the door family. Just type comments. Yeah. And there's nothing I can do about comments. So let's go in and I gotta close this, no, and then I gotta restart it after I save this. There we go. And then we open Revit back up. Let's open up a new project. Make a new wall. Oh, and we want to load our new family. Doors, glass expanse, door, and let's bring in all of them. Let's just bring in all of them. And let's put our big boys in here. So this should now be exterior. And we should be able to just like, what was that? Anyway, let's make this manage object styles. Let's just make sure that I think we can default this. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to make, let's do manage object styles, glass. We're going to do that Ford green kind of color. Let's duplicate this. Whoa. Of course. Materials. Let's let's just do it from here. Glass. Yeah, let's duplicate this. We're gonna call this glass Ford green. And then the color for this, let's go to appearance. We need to replace this with an actual PBR material. Glass clear, and let's do gray. So let's swap can we plot that? Let's duplicate that. This is going to be called Wood Green. Wood Green. And I'm making this a PBR material, so whatever that means in the context of Revit. Okay. Clear. Let's make it like 1.7. Roughness is fine. Let's leave it like that. We don't need any highlight control or anything like that, so we're good for that. Let's use the render appearance for that. Transparency. Yeah, let's use 100%. We don't need a material on that. Class is going to be glass. So let's say that that's good for that. And then we'll just use the black anodized aluminum for the other one. So let's go to object styles, glass, wood green, and then this is, I can't remember exactly how it was spelled. Are you kidding me? In the other project, there was a material called black anodized aluminum. Apparently in this project, which is from the same template, there are no materials. Oh, I know why. Jeez. I wonder if I can... I really don't want to do that. But let's see. I don't know how I managed to get that, but okay. Why? But why is the glass not green? Glass, that's fine. Oh. What? Oh, because is it because it's PBR? That's why. Because that's set to 100. There we go. So I think we're going to save that. Load that into the project. I don't think it's going to update the project settings. So what I'm going to do is close this project and we're going to load it in one more time. Make a new project. So I'm curious now, if I go to object styles, did it bring that material in? Yes, it did. Okay, great. I think that's going to be it for our stream today. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a great one. And feel free to ask any questions for our future tutorials and whatnot. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again for stopping by.